All right. Welcome, everyone. Today, it's the third session day for Say No to Sexual Harassment. And without wasting much of time, let's move ahead and start with Module 3, wherein we are understanding the redressal processes and further what Neha Shirmali ma'am has to tell us. So, ma'am, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Radhika. Good evening, all. We are starting with the third and the last session of POSH today. Um, just to have a quick recap, in the first session, we talked about the genesis of POSH. What is POSH? What are the objectives of the session? And why do organizations need POSH? Okay, and how did it came up? So we talked about the genesis part. In the second session, last session a day before, we talked about the technical aspects of POSH. For example, what are the forms of POSH, what constitutes POSH, and what are the types of POSH, and what all things are included into it, along with a few case studies. Now, going forward, we'll be talking about the third session of it, which talks about the prevention and prohibition of this. Okay, when we talk about prevention and prohibition, we mean that what can the companies do if some case comes, and what is the complaint mechanism, and how the redressal mechanism works. But to start with, prior to that, I would like to invite if we have certain questions from past two sessions, so we can quickly go through the sessions so that we can have a smooth learning, and it is easy for us to build up going forward. So, do we have certain questions, please,
Yes,
from the
Neha.
past sessions? Yeah.
Uh, Neha, last time I was listening to your session and you were talking about when the person goes out with the management because of the some kind of client meeting or some kind of anything which is related to business. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then any kind of harassment defined by you is taken care into the consideration, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
However, there are times when the companies organize recreational activities. Okay. Now they
Mm-hmm.
are not there for any business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there's no business involved in it. It's more like a recreational. At time it is volunteered on a voluntary basis. At times it is decided by the company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now
Mm-hmm.
that's when I want to understand when the company is organizing a recreational activity.
Mm-hmm.
Does
Okay.
is Porsche applicable in that scenario?
Now, first thing is, I gave an example of parties and annual parties. Now, parties and recreational activities sound a little bit similar. So, if the parties given by company, organized by company, are covered into POSH, of course, the recreational activities that are covered, that are organized by organization, are also covered into POSH. Now, there are two scenarios. First, they whether they are voluntary or they are compulsory, where everybody has to come. If it is done by organization, it no doubt comes under POSH. Now, let's say there is a team outing kind of thing, which is decided only by the members of the team, and there is no involvement of organization, but the manager and some 5 6 employees are going for an outdoor trip or recreational activities. That will not be covered under POSH because that is not uh, organized by the company. But yes, if some recreational activity is organized by a company, be it volunteer, be it compulsory, it is included under POSH. Yes. Next question.
That would be all. Thank you.
Okay. So now moving on to the session three. Next slide. Yeah. So here we'll be talking about the legal
Sorry,
aspect of.
just a second here. I had
Please.
one more questions. Now,
Yes.
when we said you said there were three scenarios to get Porsche compliant.
Mm-hmm.
One is that the person has to be female, okay, either
Yes.
by sexuality or by gender, whatever way we are describing it, the person
Mm-hmm.
has to be female.
Right.
It is not applicable for males. Am I correct in that
No.
understanding?
Absolutely.
So, with the current scenario, okay, wherein the transgenders, okay, wherein we are not supposed to ask their genders, and when they select others, okay, and they wish to file a POSH complaint, what exactly will that be covered?
Of course, they can file the complaint. The things will then come up in the first meeting of the query, how they identify themselves. And how they identify themselves has been covered in the previous session. And I remember the question was asked by Radhika herself, that how the transgenders are covered. Now they take the other section only by the time at the time of their recruitment. Okay. Now at other times while they are in the company and they are approaching to HR and IC committees and all, by then it is clear how they are identifying themselves, and otherwise also it is clear in the report. And in the first meeting that is held only with the perspective to understand the nature of the complaint, there it is identify how they address themselves. So these are some of things, of course not directly asked, but there are certain techniques of asking the questions. Okay, there is always a way to ask something. So it is gauged in those discussions, and rest is what I mentioned in the last session. So that's how the treatment happens. Okay, it's not just the basis on the form that they have filled at the time of recruitment. There are many other touch points where the gender can be gauged. Yeah, because that comes in the very first meeting of the IC committee. Any question more? Can we move forward? Yeah, can we move forward? Anupama, any other question do you have? Radhika, you there? Is there anybody?
Neha, I am actually sharing the screen. That is why I can't speak. So we can move forward?
Yes, please. I was just confirming if you're there. All right. Next slide, please. So here in this, we'll be talking about the legal background. Is Anupama, are you okay with the answer? You have any other query or something like that?
No, Neha, I think that would be all. Thank you.
That's all? Okay. So next slide, Radhika. Can we move to the next slide? Yes. Now, this is something very, very important to understand, that POSH always comes, just previous one, please. Previous one. The civil remedy and the criminal remedy. The previous one, Radhika. I think it is slide number 68. Yes, please. The POSH comes under civil remedy, and when the complaint is lodged as FIR or the complainant approaches to court and all, the sexual harassment then comes under the purview of IPC, okay, Indian Penal Code. The difference between criminal remedy and civil remedy is very simple. I'll give you a very beautiful example of this. We all have seen around in our families and relatives and all, when there is something wrong between a couple, what happens? Do they go directly to the court and FIR lodge and everything happens? No. What happens is that some people in the family come together, some senior people of the family come together, they have a meeting, they have the counseling of the husband and wife both, and they try to settle the matter so that the family is can be avoided of being broken. Okay, and they can reunite the husband and wife, and the family is kept maintained. Okay, so this is called civil remedy, where there is no indulgence of laws and legal kind of things and FIRs and all legal processes. Okay, it doesn't come under IPC. Now, if the matter doesn't get solved, only then the husband and wife approaches to the court and they file the complaints and all that stuff. So that comes under the criminal remedy, because after the matter goes to police station or court, that get into the purview of IPC, Indian Penal Code. Hence, the same thing applies with the POSH. Till the time the POSH is in the company itself and is being taken care by the IC committee, it is called the civil remedy. But if the complainant is not happy and they go out and file FIR and get into the court proceedings and all that stuff, that comes into the criminal remedy. Okay, next please. Now, these are the sections. We'll quickly go through it. We don't take much time into it. These are some of the sections that are constituted into POSH. Okay, and just now the sections of are like 294, that stands for Obscene Act and Words in Public. Section 354, which is very, very important act, the prime basis of POSH Act, that is sexual harassment. 354D is stalking somebody. 503, criminal intimidation. And section 354C is voyeurism, and section 499 is defamation. And these are the punishments mentioned simultaneously. So can we have to the next screen, please? Now, as you see, section 67 of IT Act, as I told you in the previous session, that law has been very intelligent, where it has covered the work from home scenario as well. So, but the scenario was not so familiar with us, but law has already covered it. Now, this is the section that covers the work from home scenario, that is the online act of obscenity. Okay. Now, 509, Word Gesture Act, intended to insult the modesty of a woman. Okay. So these are the acts that and sections that are involved into IPC. The POSH Act covers them. Okay. Next, please. Next. Now, from here, the redressal process starts, and it starts from the complaint committee. That is the basis of redressal process. Okay. Now, POSH Act is based on the decision of on the phenomena called natural justice. Natural justice means that we are not the judge. We don't hold any legal responsibilities or authorities, but when we are made sit to do some kind of justice anywhere, we have the sense of natural justice, and we try our best that we do justice with both the parties. Now, that is called natural justice, that when you are sitting as a judge, not with the official position, but to decide somebody, to do justice with somebody, it naturally comes into the mind that we have the responsibility of justifying both the parties and of justifying our own role as a judge. Okay, that is called natural justice. This is a psychological thing. Next, please. Now, complaint committee is a committee of 3 to 8 members, which is made to hear the POSH cases, the sexual harassment cases in the companies. Okay, so these are just to resolve to ensure that there is no sexual harassment on the floor, and if something happens, how can that can be redressed. Next, please. Now, when complaint committees, there are basically 2 types of complaint committees. One is the internal complaint committee, that is called IC now. Initially, when the act was formed in 2013, these committees were known as internal complaint committee, and the other was known as local complaint committee. In 2018, probably, yes, there come a reformation where the name got changed and it became IC and LC, internal committee and local committee. Now, these 2 committees have the same purpose. Of course, their circumstances changes. Okay. Now, when internal committee comes to the picture, first, internal committee comes into the picture when there is a POSH committee in the organization itself. It stands for the organization that has more than 10 employees. Okay, IC committee is formed in only those organizations which have more than 10 employees. Okay, and if the complaint is with any of the employee, internal committee comes into the picture. Now, what is the role of local complaint committee? Local committee, I must say. Now, local committee is being governed by the district officer of the district. Okay. Now, there are three scenarios where local committee comes into the picture. First is when it is unorganized sector and there are less than 10 employees. Okay. For example, the masons and the voluntary wage earners, the daily wage earners, these people don't have a proper setup of organization. So for them, it is local committee. Now, the second scenario, okay, where the complaint is, this is the third scenario, where the complaint is against the employer himself. Of course, internal committee is not capable enough, is not competent enough to solve the cases, to take up the cases where the management or the CEO and board of directors are involved. Reason being that the recommendation from IC after the query is given to management to act upon. Now, this is something very, very obvious, that how can management take action against itself? Okay, this cannot finalize and cannot work on the recommendations given by IC, which are against him, against himself. So to cater those kind of those level of matters, LC is formed. Okay, next please. Please move on. I've already talked about it. Next, please. Okay, yes. Now, what are the duties of IC when we talk about? The duty of ICs are to meet every quarter. Now, there are generally 4 meetings, okay, 3 meetings, I say, sorry. There are 3 meetings in every quarter. I think it is 3 to 4. Okay, 4 meetings every quarter, okay, and which are mandatory to do as per the law, to discuss about the awareness level in the organization. Doing the awareness program is the responsibility of IC, okay, to take care of rumors in the office, if any. So actually IC works like a, you know, radar or the spy kind of thing, where they are you know, having a close watch on the environment of the company, of the culture of the company. Now, to check and update the policy. Now, there are always updations and reviews are required. Many of the companies have reviewed and updated their policies during this COVID period, when earlier they were not working from home, but then they moved to the work from home model of their business. So they had to update their policies as well. Okay. Now, conduct the inquiry in any sexual harassment complaint. Of course, this is the prime responsibility. And prepare and assist management to submit annual reports. Now, this annual report is submitted once a year by 31st December, and it is submitted at the end of the year. And this is the responsibility of IC itself. Next, please. Now, there are certain key responsibilities while some query comes or some complaint is raised. So there are certain responsibilities. Let me quickly go through it. It is like IC has to be thoroughly prepared. They should know the act and policy and relevant service rules. So of course, they should be subject matter expert. They have to be, okay? Gather and record all relevant information, of course, through inquiry. And before inquiry, they have to create all the relevant information which might help them to prepare their interview questionnaire, okay? Determine the main issue in the complaint. Then they have to prepare relevant interview questions, conduct necessary interviews, in awareness of the process. They should analyze information gathered, which is a part of inquiry, and prepare the report with finding or recommendations, which at the end, complaint committee has to do and present the recommendation to the management. Next, please. Now, if a female is facing encountering the sexual harassment, there are certain things, because maybe in the initial level of the careers, there are young girls, just college pass out girls, and if something is happening with them, they are not in the position to identify. And this is mostly happening with those kind of employees, because they are new to corporate culture and they are not able to identify whether I'm going through a corporate cultural kind of thing, or this is a harassment going on. Okay, we in our age are mature enough, and hence the cases are not that much in our age because we know what is it, we know how to deal with it. Okay, but this is I have personally seen the cases where the harassment is being faced by young girls, and they are completely in the state of confusion what to do, maybe at the age of 22, 25, 28. Okay, so they should ask a question to themselves: how many times did the incidents occur? Okay, now how long that was accident or that was intentionally done? Okay, now how long has the harassment been going on? How many others have been sexually harassed? Okay, and who were witnesses to the harassment? Most important question. Next, please. Now, what to do if the person is harassed? Okay. Now, the person should remain strictly professional. Okay. Now, be direct with the harasser. One should always talk directly to the harasser and make him aware that this is the unwanted behavior. Okay, it is very important to confront the harasser once, and if the things continues and he doesn't listen, of course then IC committee is open for you. Okay, but once the harasser should be confronted. Okay, now go to the program director or your program manager, your team manager, and I mean other IC member, and explain the circumstances. Okay, now when reporting the harassment, be prepared to share all the facts about the incidents. Now, since you are into the well, then okay, I mean you should be prepared to have all your skills and all your act and all the even if you think, because in this kind of inquiry so much of shit comes out. Okay, so now since you have already reported the harassment, you should be prepared to manage all that, what all comes on you, and along with your point of views, how are you going to defend yourself, how are you going to justify yourself, along with the in terms of the witnesses, in terms of the documentation, in terms of the evidences and proofs. Okay, now think about how the situation could be resolved. Now this is the step that is taken before complaining. Okay, now if you think you can solve it on your own, like having confrontation or some other step, go for it. If it doesn't work, okay, IC is for you. Next, please. What will the IC member do when they receive the complaint? Now, it is like the ball going into their court. Now, if you go and talk to IC member and you think you should report it, what happens? They'll talk to you and take note from what all sharing. Okay. Now here the process starts. Okay, that you have taken it out of you. Now you have shared it with the IC member. They will act in terms of, they'll let you know what are the ways, what are the options that you have, and how you can go through it, and what is the process. Excuse me. Now they will explain the entire process. They will get the facts in terms of how does this law work, what is what that you will expect, and how will it get, and what all options do you have, and then listen to you, and then they'll give the conclusion. Next, please. This is a very this is the process in very brief. We'll explain it further. Next, please. Next, please. Now, a very important question: who can complain? Now, the complaint, from here we get into the place where the person has decided that okay, sexual harassment has happened, and want to complain it to the internal committee. Now, what are the options here? In case of physical incapacity, okay, first and foremost thing is that the lady herself has to go and complain, and that has to be a written complaint. Without having it written, it is not considered as a complaint. IC committee will not take any action. So to file a complaint, there has to be a written complaint given to one of the IC member. Okay. Now, what if the female herself is not physically capable? what will happen in that case? In that case, her relative or her friend or her co-worker or some officer of National or State Commission of Women can file the complaint with the written consent of women, okay? Or any person for that matter who knows about the incident can file the complaint only with the written consent of women, okay? Now, in case of mental incapacity, now when the woman is mentally incapable, she is not sane enough where she can decide that she has to what steps she has to take for. Now, in that case, her relative can file the complaint, her friend or a special educator can do this, or a psychologist or psychiatrist or the guardian under whom she is receiving the care can file the complaint, or any person for that matter who has the information of the incidents can file the complaint on the basis of a relative, friend, or special educator, psychiatrist, or psychologist, okay, or a guardian. Now, this is the eventual position, the highest highest possibility that if the woman is deceased, okay, if she dies, if she's no more, who will file the complaint? Okay, in that case, a person whoever has the information of the incident can file the complaint with the written consent of her legal heirs. Okay, her legal heirs. Please note this, her legal heirs. Okay, next. Now, whistleblower. Notifies that something wrong is in the organization. They raise their concern. Maybe they are not directly related to it. They are not a part of it. But just to save the culture for the benefit of organization and benefit of other employees, they just raise this concern. They raise their voice to the HR or the concerned person, to the right person, and bring this matter to the right authorities to get resolved. This process is known as, this concept is known as whistleblowing. So this happens in any kind of thing. Maybe the insider information is leaking out, or some fraud is going on. Okay, some financial fraud is going on. So any person raising concerns wherein there's something wrong is happening is known as the whistleblower. And this concept is known as whistleblower policy. Okay, every company has this particular policy. Okay. In this particular case of Posh, if any third person witnesses that some employee is undergoing sexual harassment and he is not raising voice, this whistleblower person can raise the voice. They can directly go to HR or IC committee, mention the issue, what is happening with whom, and then from there, the IC committee take up the matter and they talk to the complainant and the prospect complainant, the harassed, the aggrieved woman, and they make her write the complaint and talk to her what she wants, how she wants to take the matter. Okay, and motivates her to take action and raise voice to dignify herself, to justify her point of view, and save her dignity and self-respect. Okay, so this is what whistleblower does. Next, please. Can we have next, please? Yeah. Next, yeah. Now, there are certain, it is a matter of equality, and until proved, nobody is criminal in front of law. Okay, so the law has given all the rights to complainant and the respondent as well. Now here, what are the rights of complainant? First, they have right to have an empathetic attitude. Okay, it is always empathy that is very important to be given by the IC committees. Okay, a copy of the statement. Every organization, every proceeding and every decision is to be given the copy to the complainant as well. IC committee has to give one copy to complainant as well. Okay, of every step done. Okay, now confidentiality. It is very, very important to maintain confidentiality. And this is not only on the IC committee's side, but every party involved in the POSH case has to maintain confidentiality, whether it is the IC committee members themselves or the complainant or the respondent, all also the witnesses involved in the case. Okay, or for that matter, anybody who has been asked for inquiry, it has to maintain the confidentiality. Now, support. Of course, support from IC committee, from HR members as well. Okay. Now, recorded statement. Complainant has every right to have the recorded statement and to know what all has been talked about. So the confidentiality is from the members outside of POSH committee, outside of this POSH case. But within the members involved in the POSH complaint, there has to be complete transparency. Okay. And the most important factor is right to appeal. This comes in the end part also, but to clear here, every complainant, if he or if she is not satisfied with the decision of the recommendation given by IC committee or the management, they have all the rights to go and file the FIR or further complaint against it. Okay. Next, please. Now, as we were talking about equality, there are certain rights given to respondent as well. There are like a patient hearing to present his case. Of course, the respondent has all the rights to present his case as well. Okay. Now, copy of the statement as given to complainant are given to the respondent as well. Okay. Now, keeping his identity confidential, again, the confidentiality is again a very important point. Okay. Next, the right to appeal, the same as complainant, he also has the right to appeal. Okay. Next, please. Yeah. Now, this is how the complaint should look like. Okay. Till now, we talked about what is IC committee, what is complainant, and respondent responsibilities and authorities. Now, here the complaint redressal process starts. Now, starts from writing a complaint. Now, what there should be in a complaint, whatever, every organization has its own format of complaint. Everybody has its own format of complaint, but these are the 5 basic elements that are mandatory in every format. Okay, that there should be the date and time of the incidents. Okay, the working relationship with the harasser, then the name of the complainant and the harasser, and the description of the incidents, when the incidents happened, what all happened. So detailed description is required. Okay, so this is the basic format of a complaint. Okay, then it is like 6 copies given to the 6 copy of this were written and given to the IC and the IC committee members. Although now when it is the time of emails, it is sufficient to write an email mentioning to any one of the IC member or the presiding officer. So that would suffice, or you can mark copy to rest of them as well. So that would suffice. Next, please. Yes. Now, this is SheBox, which is a portal made by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. This is for the females and is used in 2 cases. One, where the female cannot muster the courage to go to IC or she doubts that she will be heard. And in that case, if she avoids facing the IC committee and the management, the lady can go on this site named as shebox.nic.in. This is a government site. And this portal is exclusively made for handling the POSH complaints. Okay, so this SheBox is this website where any lady can go and file the complaint. Okay, and in the second scenario where there is unorganized structure, there is no IC committee, and there is nobody to listen. Of course, she can go to SheBox, and then the Ministry of Women and Child Development will take care of the session of her complaint. Okay. Now, next screen. Yeah. So this is how it looks in the previous screen when you log into the SheBox. And then this is the next screen where you register your complaint. Okay. Next, please. This is the form that opens, and if you see this, it holds all the important points of the complaint, how the complaint has to be. Okay, so this is how the form open, where you can write your complaint. It also asks the name of the organization, your employer, who is it, so that they can take up this matter, go back to the organization and take up this matter on your behalf. Okay, next please. Now, complaint process, okay? This is where you have given the complaint, and now the ball is in the IC committee's court, how they tackle it, okay? Next, please. This is a quick map of how IC committee works, okay? How your complaint process works. This is a quick view of it. So stage one, that is the receipt of the complaint. Now, this is where the organization take complaints. Next comes planning, and then interview, reasoning and analysis, finding and recommendation, and then finally writing the report and giving the recommendation to the management. Next, we will be taking care of these steps one by one now. Can we move forward? Can we move ahead, Radhika? Yeah. Now, these are the basic steps that the company takes. These are These are discussed in detail in the awareness program, because this is a detailed session, and the awareness program are done for 3 to 4 hours. And there, these are discussed in detail. I have just taken you through those quick snapshot for how is the process done. Do you want me to discuss that in detail right now? Or can we move forward? That was sufficient for right now. Yeah, Radhika, can I have your viewpoint, please? Back. Can you take it back? Previous slides. One more. Can we have back? Can we go back? One slide back.
Just a second, Neha.
Oh, okay.
Just a second.
Radhika, do you want me to explain this process right now? Or is it okay if we move forward and the brief is sufficient for now?
Do you really think, Neha, that we can, if we have time, and how much time it will take? If it is convenient,
this takes time, so we can have it in some other session later on, because it indeed takes time. There are 6 steps which takes time, maybe 15 minutes.
Okay. So as per your convenience, whatever you feel like, we can move ahead with that.
Okay, so I'll just talk about these steps right now, and then we'll move further, because detailing these steps will really take a longer, and these are done for IC committees in 4 to 8 hour sessions. Okay, so first, stage 1, wherein the IC committee receives the complaint. Okay, then they have a meeting together, wherein in the stage 2, they plan how are they going to take the query. First of all, they check it on the 3 pillars, whether it is a POSH case or not. Okay, now whether this qualifies for POSH case, that is the first question that needs to be taken care of. If no, okay, they just respond that this is not a POSH case. If it is POSH case, then the planning is done, wherein all the questions are noted, all the evidences are taken care of basis the complaint, and then the meetings and all are decided, how they will proceed for meetings and who all to call for meetings and when. Okay, the date, place, the date and venue are decided for the meeting, where this meeting is going to held. Okay, now third stage comes is interviews. All the members who are the part of this complaint are interviewed. Okay, the complainant, the respondent, if there are some witnesses, they are interviewed. And also, if the IC committee feels that there is certain person which is not being mentioned in the complaint, but is a relevant contributor who can help in solving the query, can be called and have an interview. Okay. Next stage is reasoning and analysis. This is the longest stage, where all the queries are discussed, maybe with the complainant and complainant and the respondent, or within the IC committee members. These all are decided. Okay. Now stage 5 is finding and recommendation. So when we talk about findings, this is the second last stage, where after all the query and everything, they reach to a conclusion where what is this, and they give their own recommendation on it. And at last, the recommendations are presented in the form of a report to the management to be taken action on. Okay, so this is the entire process in brief. Next slide, please. Now, compensation, what all can be done, okay? Now, the amount that is to be paid after the query and if the case is proven. Now, what is the compensation? The amount to be paid to aggrieved woman entirely depends on the loss of career opportunity that is faced by the complainant, the aggrieved woman. If there are certain medical expenses borne by the aggrieved woman, the income and financial status of the respondent, okay, and the amount to be paid in lump sum or installments that is given in the recommendation itself, and the mental pain and the suffering that the aggrieved woman has encountered, okay, she has gone through. So these are the factor basis which the compensation is decided by the IC committee. Next, please. Now, there's some very, very obvious question that while the inquiry is going on and the complainant or the respondent are not comfortable to be on the same floor or maybe working in the same team or being in front of each other, what is it that can help us and give them a comfortable position? Okay. Now, here the law has taken very well care of this situation. So they have suggested, the law has suggested some interim measures, which while the inquiry is going on the basis of the request by the complainant, okay, what they can do, this is on the basis of written complaint. They can take there are three options given to the female, okay. First, if it is the direct reporter of the direct manager of the female, the aggrieved woman, they can be stopped from reporting on work. They can be stopped from the writing her a confidential report or appraisal. The manager, if is the harasser, cannot write the appraisal as well, okay? Or supervising her academic or of course professional activities, okay? So he can be stopped from taking all these actions. Number one. Number two, the transfer or the transfer of complainant or respondent can be suggested basis the request, whatever the complainant requests for, or they can be sent on leave as well. The complainant or respondent can be sent on leave as well. So these are the three measures known as interim measures. Why interim? Because they are done between the process of query, okay, and inquiry going on. Next, please. Now, after the inquiry is done, there are two scenarios, okay. First, in case the first is allegation is not proven, that nothing happened. The inquiry is closed and the recommendation is given that this POSH case doesn't hold, and because nothing happened from sexual side and everything, okay. So they mentioned that it is not a POSH case and hence they close the inquiry. First. Second, in case the allegations are proven, that means if the IC committee establishes that yes, the sexual harassment has happened here, okay. So in this case, now after the inquiry, what can be the recommendations of IC? First, the service rules to be followed. Every company has its own service rules that are given, that are mentioned, and they mention about the state that in case of POSH, what all things can be done. Now, second, disciplinary actions can be taken, reprimand or withholding of promotion can be done, counseling sessions can be done, termination from services also comes into picture, financial damages and additional recommendations can be suggested by the IC to management. Now, the level of what kind of recommendations is given depends on the severity of the complaint, okay. If it is something light, that is okay, can be done with counseling also. If it is something very grave incident kind of thing happened, then it can go up to termination as well. So it all depends on the degree of harassment that has happened, about the severity of the complaint that has happened. Okay. Next, please. Once the recommendation is given, now here, if any of the party, means the recommendation, the complainant or the respondent is not satisfied with the recommendation of IC, they have one more option. Okay, they can file a further appeal in front of the appropriate court and whatever is there in this terms of service rules. Okay, but they have to file the report within 90 days from the date of recommendation. Okay, if the recommendation is done on 30th of Jan, they have Feb, March, and April. Till 30th of April, they can go and file appeal onto this. After that, they don't have any right to file appeal. Okay. So this is also one of the comfort given to both of the parties. Okay. Please next. Now, this is something very, very important. Why? This is only the reason why men should also be here. This is, I mean, there are basically three reasons why men should be here. But this is reason is one of those reasons why men should know POSH Act. Okay, there have been seen many cases where there is no sexual harassment, but females file false complaint against men just to as a threat or with a malicious intention and to fulfill their own personal vendetta. Okay, this is done with misleading and malicious intentions, and they produce false or misleading documents or evidence. This is just to take revenge from men for some reason, maybe some transfer or promotion or some grievance, some personal relationship issues. Okay, some affair in the past and which didn't work out, and then they want to have a revenge on men. So these are some of the reasons why the false scales also appear. If the complaint is identified as false by the IC committee after the inquiry, the same actions that were proposed for the respondent are all applied for the complainant as well. Okay, now there are three scenarios. First, if it is the false case. Number two, if there are misleading documents, or if they are false evidences. Okay, so these are basically the two scenarios where it is considered as a false case. Okay, now one thing which also needs to be taken care of here is that providing misleading and misleading and false evidences and documents pertain to false case, and they are ought to be penalized. But inefficiency of giving evidences and proofs and witnesses, I mean, where there have been no proof, and if the female is not able to give any kind of evidence or proof, that does not constitute to the penalty. Okay, so they are providing documents and they are false intentionally. That is what constitutes to the penalty. Okay, so this is something very, very important to be known by men and women both. Because of course, friends, this act is made for the safety of women. So why to misuse this? Many of the women misuse it also. Okay, and thereby spoiling the purpose of this act. Okay, next please. So this is something very simple. Now, unlike IPC process where the cases are dragged for months and years, this POSH Act has certain timelines. So this has to get completed within 3 months. Okay, so this is the most beautiful thing about this act. Okay, that this has certain timelines, and all the parties have to take action within these decided timelines. Now, what is it? First, submission of complaint. The complaint should be submitted to IC within the 3 months of the last incident. So the complainant has 3 months to think and file complaint. Now, notice to respondent. After receiving the complaint by IC, the IC has to give the notice to the respondent within 7 days, okay, of receiving of the complaint, that this kind of complaint has been raised against you. Now, here the respondent again gets 10 days to respond the complaint. Okay. Next, completion of inquiry. Within 90 days of the complaint, okay, the entire inquiry has to complete within 90 days. Now, submission of report by IC or LC. Okay. Now, what is it? Once the complaint is complete, okay, after that, the IC has 10 days. Within 10 days, they have to give the recommendation and submit the report to management. Okay, they have just 10 days. Now, implementation of recommendation. Now, here, management again has they have to work on the recommendation within 60 days. Okay. Now, then if any of the party is not happy, they can file the appeal to the further court, appropriate court, within 90 days of the recommendations given by the management and IC committee. Okay. So this is the timeline. Next slide. Okay, so this is the timeline and all about the complaint and redressal process for the program. So here I stop and I give a pause to today's program and this entire 3 days session. It is complete from my side. Now, what all questions do we have? I am open for the questions, please. Although this is the most complex part of entire POSH Act redressal process. So there can be n number of questions. But okay, so do we have questions?
All right. Anybody, any questions?
Not as of now, Radhika. Thanks.
Okay. I think that to be very honest, Neha, whatever we have covered in module 3, or maybe in today's session, this is something which is very heavy to grab in a daytime. So it's very important to brush up the basic knowledge that these are the rights which women have. And this one thing good is that at least we have a process that if there is a false complaint, we can penalize that lady too.
Yes.
So I personally feel that wrapping up of this entire session is a bit heavy on a task, and it is absolutely amazing to understand. And in probably any which ways, I really hope that none of us known to us, or probably none of us should face this kind of a thing. But you cannot move away or ignore it, because this is a part and parcel of every corporation.
Sure.
So I remember whenever I used to take things, I always say people that never ever ignore your rights, and never ever think that it is okay. So it is not okay. So sometimes it's a very common statement that it's okay. I tell you, there are times wherein even the male partner says it's okay if you don't feel like in that way, but they did it, right? So it is important to be known that if it's something which you don't like happens to you, it's not okay, and it's never be okay. So it's better to exercise your rights in that way. And one thing is, do not leave the company. It is your company. You can able to contribute over there. So there are times wherein women start looking for another job and they leave the company. And that is the best possible way which they think that it is there in their hand, and they should exercise and move on. So I would say that you might have solved the problem for themselves, for your own self, but what about the person who will be coming next on your chair?
And how far they'll run, no? They find it everywhere. So how many companies will they leave? It's good that they should stay there and fight it. So that, I mean, how far, what are the places they'll run, and how long will they run from it? Eventually they have to raise voice, stand up and fight it. So that is the only option.
Absolutely. For themselves. This is the thing that, of course, if you will be coward once, you will be coward always.
Absolutely.
So absolutely correct. And you have to take stand for others too. So that person who is doing it, he has to stop somewhere. Women are not their private property wherein they can do whatever they want to. in whatever scenario. So this is something which is very nice, Neha. I am thanking you from the bottom of my heart. We have done a brilliant job, rather you have done a brilliant job in conducting these 3-day session, and this is something which is absolutely commendable. Knowing these things to the people who are part of us, or probably I would say that who are not there in this meeting, but probably might be searching for something on YouTube or something, and they will get to know that if in
Right.
case of anything, what the thing, what exactly are their rights and they should do. So amazing task, commendable, and I'm really looking forward with other things also, Neha.
Yeah.
Probably because we are not touching the children below 18. So somewhere in June or July, we can talk on 1-day or 2-day session as per what you can suggest, wherein we can also talk about how children should be protected.
POCSO.
Right. So because that is also there, and I feel that it's more on the family side. Children
Every
below
side.
that age face
Every side, because a lot more happen within family, a lot more
Right.
happen at tuition centers, a lot more happen in the schools, a lot more happen in the academic sports academies. So it's everywhere. It's everywhere, and hence the should be made, and teachers. I mean, the target audience for that program should be the parent and teachers, which of course covers everybody almost.
Absolutely. We'll
yeah.
try. We can fetch out things, and let's hope for many more good sessions from you, Neha, and looking forward for great association further. And amazing. Thank you. It's only one word is amazing. So
Right. I'm really glad we could complete it. And as you said initially, that yes, this is a heavy dose. The last session is heavy dose,
Yes.
and that is why I have quickly run through the session, because just touching upon the points takes a lot to understand. And that is why the last session is exclusively taken for the IC committees, and which take whole day training program. So
Right.
it's not easy to be done in 40 minutes. So I have tried to cover the most possible thing which actually everybody needs to know in this time.
And whatever you have covered, it's absolutely heavy. So grabbing that thing will take at least 1-2 days of time in my head. I don't know about others, but I would take that time to absorb the things. And yes, in case I would say to all the people who are present here, and probably to all the people who will be listening or watching our video, that in case you have any queries, please contact Neha Shirmani ma'am or me or Delhi Council in whatever manner, and we'll try up that we can help you in the best possible manner and in the best possible way. And yes, indeed, in any kind of expert opinion, specialized opinion, all the time, I think Neha Shirmani ma'am will be absolutely available. So we can, of course, ma'am, because Neha, it's like that we will be calling you only if in case we suffer anything.
Of course, I'm there for this kind of thing, and that is the reason I have decided to be a part of this organization, Wiki, so that I may work for my purpose and I can work towards the direction to help women. So this is all my purpose. So I'm all open. All my knowledge is open for this group whenever somebody requires.
Thank you so much. Thank you, and it's an amazing day. I wish you all a very happy Mother's Day. And very happy Mother's Day, and enjoy with your kids, and have great blast. God bless you all, and have fun. Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day to you too, Radhika.
Thank you so much. All right, thank you. We'll take a leave for the day. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye. Thank you so much.